Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ranting Atheist podcast. Today on Story of an Atheist, we'll be listening to the story of a fellow Nigerian atheist. He's a fresh graduate and, funny enough, he deconverted while in school. And I mention this because he went to one of the Oyedepo schools. So it was really tough for him, I can imagine. Not believing in God in an Oyedepo owned school, tough, really tough. Hiding and disguising and constant pretending. Even me, when I was there, I was a Christian, but I still had to pretend sometimes so I won't get expelled. So you can imagine. But one thing peculiar about these stories, you can hear his way he's speaking. If you listen to the way he's speaking, he had to hide somewhere in the house in order for him not to be found out by any of his family members. So when some thieves come and be saying people become atheists because they want to feel among, I begin to wonder, you want to feel among those who have to hide themselves, who have to hide somewhere in order to share their experience? It's really annoying. It's fucking annoying. But anyway, if you're here to subscribe, Apple, Spotify, Google, any other place you get podcasts from, then now if you are listening to this on Spotify has started allowing us to rate podcasts. So please rate this podcast on Spotify and also iTunes people. Please rate it as well. Spotify just brought out this feature. I just learned about it a few hours ago. So please enjoy the deconversion story of Fred. Hello, bro, and you're welcome to Story of an Atheist. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. It's nice to be here.
Great having you here. Thanks for reaching out.
It's my pleasure.
All right, now. So, who are we speaking with? The listener wants to know who is on the other side. Every time we do this, somebody is on the other side. So, who are we speaking with? Your name. Now, if you don't want to say your full name, you can use a pseudonym. Then, your age now. Age 2, Gen Z, Millennial, or are you Gen X? So, what do you do for a living? Then your location, if you are comfortable with that.
All right. For my name, I'd rather use a pseudonym. So, I guess you could just call me Fred.
Okay.
I'm 21. Sorry, I'm 22. I'm 22. I just finished.
Not too long ago, Abby.
Actually, it's been long. It's been almost 6 months.
Now, when a person just change here, now if you can forget, say you have added 1 year.
Nervousness affects me now.
Calm down. We did together. That's me and you. Nothing to do you, Jerry. We are just guy to guy.
So I stay in Abuja.
Okay.
I just finished school. One of those Oyedepo schools.
Alpha. You did this guy. I know what's up. My guy. Want to get there. But I fuck you, Oyedepo. I sure to go jam. I'm really mad.
You don't pay your tithe, it will be tight for you.
Oh my God. Mother, for always cash out king. Making money their father. Say all the schools, Covenant, Faith Academy, Landmark, everything is in his fucking name.
That's not
the church.
Business is business.
Not Winners Chapel. David Oyedepo owns every goddamn school.
Yeah, I wasn't really aware of that, but
Baba don't talk and since 2012 now. Come the brown mouth say nobody donated for him. Meanwhile, I was in Faith Academy when members, when they came to church, dropped their cars as a seed offering for Covenant University. They collected Covenant University sacrificial offering. And the motherfucker, they run mouth say nobody donated. Like, that's why I don't know if when I was in school then, when we were going to chapel, the members were always hostile towards us. We used to wonder, like, what do we do now? It was now some years later, me and one of my colleagues were now analyzing that. Remember what all the sacrifice these members did, and majority of them cannot afford the school fees. Because even then it was 400, very, very high. Now it's like 1 point something. They were just so, and the anger, we could just see unnecessary anger, and now understood that is why they're angry. After all the contribution, they have been gated out with by the school fees. So, the man is a cash out king. Anyway, we'll talk about him later, but let's focus on you now. So, fresh out of school, your eyes are open, you are 22 years old. I am fucking jealous because it took me 30 fucking years for my eyes to be finally opened. But at least it's not
better late than never.
Exactly. So, before let me see now. What do you currently identify yourself? What do you currently?
Oh, atheist.
Atheist.
It took me a while to really accept the label and own up to it, but yeah, I've been going by that for over a year now. Or about a year.
Nice. So what is atheism to you? Define atheism. What's your own definition? What's your understanding of it, the word?
Well, the common definition people use is the lack of belief in God or gods. Though in my personal experience, I extend that not just to gods, but to any disembodied mind. Right? So gods, spirits, ghosts,
juju, jabs,
angels, demons, all of them. If you tell me that he's a mind but it doesn't have a body, it's very sus.
It's all in your head.
That's right. So
nice one. Exactly. That's nice. That's good. Good to know that. So now take us on what was your religious background like? I'll give us a full scope of it. What was your religious exposure like?
Well, I attend I can still say I attend because going to church is not an option in this house. Going to church is not an option in this house. So I and my family attend Presbyterian church. That's where we were all brought up. And my parents have made sure to send me to Christian schools all my life. Went to a Methodist primary school, went to a Catholic secondary school.
Wow.
And then for university, like I said, Oyedepo
schools.
Yeah.
So now with all this exposure, how did you were you just going to the flow, or did you catch fire? Did you believe in all these things to a certain extent? Were you that intense? What was it like?
For me, I did believe, like I genuinely believed, but the whole catching fire thing was never my style.
Okay.
All that spiritual. I mean, yeah, I did try to carry religion on my head, right? I desperately tried to do, what was necessary to please Jesus and all that. But I was, when it comes to group prayers, I never felt comfortable with those kind of things. Speaking in tongues, that one is like my brain rejected that one right from the start. So, no matter how many times I received baptism of the Holy Spirit, if you speak in tongues. So yeah, I did believe, but
what you say you tried? Like what did you do? You were reading the Bible, you were going to extra services, or when you say you were trying to be serious?
Like I used to try to read the Bible, but let's be honest, that book is boring. Yes. So I used to try to read the Bible, and then you know how it is now, growing up as a teenager, the holiness and all that. So
about that.
Exactly. So kanji was a real issue for me, and so I had these. The way it is that I'll check off periodically, and then after some time, like throughout that period, I'll be feeling like, I've sinned. I can't. I go back to God like this. It would be like testing. So in that period now, to read Bible go hard for me, to pray go hard for me. So it's after like maybe I feel that okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready now. So usually that time I started a lot of church camp, like usually where I just go to like recharge. So I then I attend now, I come back feeling born twice. So okay, I'm ready now. We study read Bible, we study pray on the norms, before you know it, Konji come and spell show you. So
Konji is simply a bastard.
I swear.
Konji stays undefeated. I always laugh when people are always then on Twitter, you see them. They know how to do defender for Jesus. But when they see prick or pussy, fuck Jesus, man.
So
fuck Jesus. Hey, so now this guilt cycle, what that was that was secondary school now, eh?
Yeah,
yes.
And even through uni too.
Yeah, through uni. So now uni, Oyedepo school, and I'm guessing is possibly my own, but even if it's the other one, yes, it's a mirror reflection. So getting in there now, how did you navigate your belief in God? How was your belief in God throughout? How did going to that school, Oyedepo school, affect it positively or negatively? How?
Okay, would I say it affected it? Because being in that school,
affected or enhanced it or boosted it, whichever one.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Being in that school didn't really significantly change, my beliefs. I still tried to be a good Christian and all that.
Okay.
Although they try force chapel service that are true for that school, you be expensive. But the whole time, I did. I joined what castles. So I still have some of my pieces that I wrote back when I believed. But once I did converted, it became hard for me to.
Yeah,
because
also you the right pieces. That's some. It's at the right. My own is president. Lord, get the fuck out of church.
I say back there, I only follow religion play. I take it serious, but
Now, what is it? Pieces? Those pieces. What is it, like a blog or
more like
exactly
poetry
or personal writing, just in your note or something?
No, more like poetry, and then you would usually perform them for the units, and then you can perform on this thing now on stage during chapel service.
Okay, them David level. I will lift up my hands to the hills.
Yeah, something like that.
My help. Oh, wow, man, that was some deep. That's good to know. So, you are in Covenant University. They are forcing you to go to chapel. Not Covenant University or Landmark. I don't know which one. See me. It's the same thing. Landmark, Covenant University. Fuck that shit. They are forcing you to chapel service. But you believe in God. You are in a service unit. You are writing poetry for Jesus. You are toasting Jesus. Doing Davido style. That kind of thing. You are in it, bro. You are really feeling the spirit is inside you. Like for you to write stuff, poetry, man, that's some deep level stuff. I'm telling you, if you feel it's not that deep, I'm only deep. When did that seed of doubt start growing?
That's an interesting question because I've always had a skeptical mind, right? So even though I believed, my bullshit meter was very active. It's just that it had been suppressed regarding Christianity because I've been told my whole life that everything about it is true. So I think the first thing that really made me start questioning was one time at that camp when one of the speakers spoke on the story of Adam and Eve, right? And then he said something that really didn't sit well with me. He said that God knew Adam and Eve were going to eat the fruit and basically damn the world. But, and here is the part that really bothered me, but he allowed it happen so that at the end of the day, when he sends Jesus down to suffer and die for us, all glory be to his name. And then I was like, bro, calm down. This doesn't sound like the actions of a loving God, because last, because of these fruits now, billions of people are going to end up in hell just for an ego trip. It didn't make sense.
Exactly.
I spoke up and asked him about it. And when he realized that his explanations weren't satisfying me, he now gave me his number so we can talk about it later on. And after that, to be honest, I didn't really think much of it. But, later on, he would come back into the picture.
The seed has been planted.
I swear. And then I guess the next catalyst was when one of my secondary school friends, and I noticed that he had become an atheist, right? So back then, I tried to, I tried to be that friend that would, try and bring back
Saving.
the relationship.
Mm.
So I went to, I went into his DM to try and talk to him now, and then, oh no, it didn't go well for me. He
Mm.
basically countered everything I said, and I had, I had no good points to make. It was so bad that I resorted to just reciting the Apostles' Creed because at that point, what else did I want to say?
Wait, what's
Like
the Apostles' Creed, please?
the I believe in God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, that stuff.
Oh, you know, reach my side though. That's in a Presbyterian way, Abi.
Yeah. My
The
Catholic
only
school,
thing we
shall
recite is the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and
do be that one.
okay. So after reciting the creed, how did it end finally?
Oh, my girl was not like that. My girl laughed. I was like that. That means I have nothing to say. So I just kukuma left jejely after they don't shave me finish. I left and I didn't think much of it again.
Okay.
So at the time I still thought, the Bible was inerrant, it's perfect, there are no contradictions, this, that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used to watch a lot of YouTube. I still watch a lot of YouTube. But back then I now came across a video about contradictions in the Bible and it just didn't make sense to me at the time.
What made you
Okay.
watch the video, Seth? Well,
So I'm a very
normally
curious
some
mind.
people
So
dodge. Okay.
I'm a very curious mind. So when I see lots of stuff like that, I like to learn. Right. Even before I started converting, I had familiarized myself with mythologies and the basics of other religions and all that, but so nothing near what I was about to learn as I started
Okay.
converting. So from that video, I eventually found another video that nothing feels like Bible history, right, from Holy Kool-Aid. Is that one that really shocked me when I found out the Exodus and other parts of the Bible are not historically backed. The thing shocked me, guy. Even before then, but because I'm science oriented, right? So when it came to theory of evolution, I did accept it, but in my mind, I was constantly trying to square it with the Genesis account.
So you were like trying to show and like God created the life,
Exactly.
but he guided evolution, Abi.
Not even that. Like I was like, okay, so Neanderthals, all these ones, dinosaurs, but Adam and Eve too were there somehow. You get. So I tried not to think too deeply about it because each time I did, it was serious cognitive dissonance. So I just mostly avoided it. But as I was diving down the rabbit hole, I found out that, I got to learn more about evolution and I realized that evolution can't be real and then we are all descended from two people. That is not how genetics works. From that point, I started doing more and more research, mostly about evolution and then apologetics and history and all that. So at the time, my belief in Christianity was just shattered, right? But it was still hard for me to completely let go. So at the time, I identified as agnostic deist because I still believed in God, just not in the claims of religions.
Okay.
So, and then I told my girlfriend about it, my girlfriend at the time. And coincidentally, today is her birthday, yeah. So I told her about
She's
it.
a believer now, Abi.
Hardcore.
She
Even my
was in school with you? In school, Abi?
Hardcore video. So yeah,
she in school
my
with
ex
you?
was
Okay.
so, yeah, she was in school with me. So when I told her, can you still hear me?
I'm with you.
Right. So when I told her, at first she brushed it off as being okay. You're probably going through a phase. Don't worry about it. You get. Fast forward a few weeks later, when she noticed that my status updates don't the
blaspheme.
it's a heavy criticism like that. She now was going to complain to one of my friends. One of the things she said to me was, even the maddest man under the bridge knows that a God exists. And that really pissed me. But at the time, like I said, I still believed in God. So it was very annoying that people kept mislabeling me as an atheist. So because it felt like they weren't listening to me. And at the time, I felt very isolated because you get, so it was like, it was really bad for my mental health at the time. So I was actually looking for people that had similar, doubts or questions. And then surprisingly, a lot of people I know have serious doubts, serious questions. But back then I was over eager to jump to the conclusion that it means that, okay, they too will deconvert. Last most of them are still Christian. They just
this is not
they just don't buy every aspect of the doctrines.
They will rationalize.
So did you say something?
Twists.
Exactly. So eventually I gave up on trying to deconvert everybody because as last I know it. But eventually the more I learned, okay, at some point my girlfriend broke up with me because of it. And I wanted her back, so it's probably going to be some simple moves, but since I wanted to get back with her, I decided to give things another shot. Like, I tried again
to be a Christian.
Yes, so I didn't stop
understandable
searching for answers to those questions that didn't make sense. So, but this time I was giving Christianity too much benefit of the doubt, you get. But at some point, I just had to admit to myself that the yardstick I'm using was not a fair criteria at all, because if I was to use that same standard, I might have to accept different contradicting religions, because I was seriously lowering my standard of evidence. And at that point, I just accepted to myself that I didn't believe. So,
this was what year was this now?
It was last year. Last year. Yeah, so exactly, that was another thing. I was on IT at the time, right? Okay. And then with the lockdown, I could not go to work. So I was stuck at home for months with nothing to do, nowhere to go. So I just used a lot of the time to, consume all sorts of content regarding religion, science, and philosophy and all that.
Yeah.
I guess the journey took me like 6 months, but eventually I admitted to myself that I'm an atheist. And it turned out that one of my childhood friends was also an atheist. She shared her story in one of your hangout groups the other day. And it was actually funny. It was actually fun hearing her voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was listening to your podcast and I heard her voice and I was like, is this not this girl? At the time, I already knew she was an atheist now. When I heard the voice, I was like, is this not her? And I listened to the story, I said, yes, it's definitely her. And then 2 of us attend the same church. So.
Oh, wow. So everybody has to still be disguising.
That's what we see.
Wow. That was last year. Do you remember the month around the time last year now?
You mean when I admitted to myself, or when
you finally admitted to yourself?
I don't remember the exact time, but I think maybe sometime between September to November.
Okay, so that means when you were viewing these answers, doing answers now, what was your mindset on how religion was fucking us in the ass, or looking at our behavior?
I found it very annoying and just pathetic, the way people were still clinging on to it, despite, because in religion, people will always find a way to excuse away things or rationalize, Okay, and the thing that particularly pissed me off throughout the answers time was the pray for Nigeria. Don't they pray?
Prayer walks, all of them.
Don't they pray for how many decades? Nothing that ever up. Instead of people to get off their asses and do something about it, they always pray for Nigeria. That's like the prayer never carry us anywhere.
You will not say, is it God that will come and fix Nigeria? I'm like, your fucking God is the all-powerful God now, creator of the universe. Nigeria is a pinch in the salt for him now. Almighty God is powerful now. Should do something about it. Faith without work is there. Bitch, work without faith is work. Don't come and give me bullshit. Like, they just, that cop out of faith without work is there to irritate me. Like, And I was like, if I work and I don't have face, will it work? They're like, guy, will it work? Look at China. China no get any god. They are working hard there. They go soon buy this country, come out from our hand. I don't know who is deceiving who. Hey. Alright, so Corona. This Corona, it has a silver lining. Now Corona said make me start to dig deep. When all our daddy Jews and bishops were talking bullshit up and down.
Yeah. So by the time I resumed for my final year, I had already completely gone over to the dark side. I was okay. I'm still somewhat closeted, right? But in school, I allowed my close friends to know, and then people in my department. I was really hiding it from them. So the result is that people in my level, maybe not the entire level, but at least in my department and some other people outside my department were aware. So it was somehow sure.
Give me some reactions that were remarkable, some standout reactions to finding out you're an atheist.
Okay, some standout reactions. Generally, most people didn't really treat me differently about it. However, upon hearing, I was usually met with, but then who made you? Or so who do you pray to? I'm like, who do I pray to? I don't understand. you get
the config. They don't understand that prayer is no more in the config again.
So there's one day like that. I don't know who sent me. I was going. These people were trying to bait me, and then I went to take the bait. We enter into argument. So all of them gathered me, they bombarded me with questions. So where did you come from? Where did the universe come from? Is that? And yeah, I did do a decent job answering, but the questions were like you get before you can even finish answering one question, and this other person has asked this one and that one. Last, I could just keep my head down, do sharp for months. But at least I don't find
the learning process.
So
because that's kind of where it's always kind of like, why is I don't know not enough? That's what I told them back then. I don't know. How do you know your own is correct? I don't know. So tell me how yours is correct. That's how I put it to them. They say, who created you? I say, my father fucked my mother. Who created my grandfather fucks my grandmother.
Yes.
Let's continue.
They asked me that question. I came from my parents. They say, okay, where did your parents come from? I say, they came from their parents. They ask silly question. So
I'm like, if you just understand, like, we don't know. Can't you just accept it? But your ego wants it to be your God. Okay, I don't know. You said it's your God. Oh yeah, please prove it to me it's your God. It's not hard. Life is not hard. So once you just say that to them, they will change the topic straight. Every time they change the topic. No proof. Everything is by faith. And faith is the excuse to believe ridiculous things. Bro, I can't. You said if you get me, I'm not sure I would have had the mind to come out if I deconverted in school. Because Oyedepo school children they can be brutal and judgmental and fucking assholes at times, condescending with their Jesus beliefs. They wave it out like a big fucking dick. I see them on Instagram. You got a lover of Jesus. This one, that one. This one, I'm just like, you motherfuckers, we know what you are doing in school. Yes, you are carrying Jesus on your chest like Superman. The hypocrisy. That's what the school breeds hypocrisy. Really trains you how to be a fucking hypocrite.
Actually, because the thing is, even the people that I know that they don't really follow their Christian teachings like that, people that I know that maybe they still smoke weed, they still fornicate and do other things. When they hear that I don't believe in God, they still have a similar reaction, right? So if them that believe, why don't they act like they believe? You get?
Kanji is a bastard. God damn it. Oh, this is a good school people. It is. Now you're an atheist, you have to be low key. What exactly is what exactly is, especially now that you're out of school, what exactly is holding you back from being at least vocal to a certain extent?
Well, the first part is that I haven't left the house yet, so that's the biggest thing.
Okay,
I'm still
understandable.
I'm still financially independent, and my parents were to know, especially my mom. There's not telling what they could do. At least with my dad, maybe we will argue, probably try and explain things to him. But my mom, the way she carries this thing on her head, So for now, my family members, they don't know. I don't allow them know.
Wow. That's actually the one of the challenges. Most of we young people, the financial independence, or rather financial dependence on our parents is the only leverage they have. Once you start making your money, bye.
The thing is, even after I start making my money, there's this sense of guilt that's bothering me. Like, okay, so I converted sins, but I've been keeping it low key, waiting for the right moment, and then it will feel like I'm just waiting to, spit in the face of what they've done for me, right? Because obviously they will take it as an insult to them, or like, that's you get. So it's
because me too. I told my parents. So, what do you say?
But I'm somewhat vocal on Twitter. At least there, I try to be anonymous, but I fuck up as I use my real name for my handle. So now I have to limit the people that follow me on Twitter. Once I see that somebody I know has followed me on Twitter, if it's someone that I feel should not know about this thing, I just block them immediately. But if someone I feel that they can do know it, I just ignore it.
It's coming out is a case by case issue. You know your situation. You need to watch it before you go guns blazing.
Exactly.
The whole part of feeling guilty. Well, you feel guilty, but this is the one life we have. This life that we even have, we did not ask to be born, but for some weird reason, we value it. There you get.
Very good. And then,
so when the time comes, they will know, and they will be hot. But it is your life. But you need to get rid of the leverage they have on you. That's the cuckoo.
I get. The part that is really bothering me about coming out is the marriage aspect, because you said with Sami now, dating pool for us is very limited.
Me, I've resigned from aspiring to marriage. If it happen, it happen. But children can come without marriage. So I'm not marriage. The way the aspiration to marriage is out of my system. Fuck marriage. It's overhyped. You can live your life on your own. You don't need to marry. If we look at the statistics of the ratio of men to women, if we are going to say everybody's going to be paired, a lot of women won't get married. So marriage is not for everybody. It's just a social construct that people aspire to, especially in this side, and they make it something women even aspire to more, and those that are not married are looked down upon, which is nonsense. Total nonsense. Say you'll be responsible if you get married. I'm like, there are a lot of irresponsible bastards that have 7 children.
I get. So marriage is something that I personally do aspire to, and because I just like the idea of having that companion that you can share everything with, that really gets you. But the issue now is finding someone that's, that is my spec and still is, on the same page with me religiously.
I have good news for you. You are 22. There you get.
I get. The road still far.
You have time. Live your life. Work on the cocoa. You will still meet who you want to meet eventually. And at least online, we are trying to build a community of unbelievers. So if you happen any which way, you're unexpected. But the cocoa is get your own shit together first.
I get.
Because if you are still the closet now, when it's not time for marriage, They will come, they plan church wedding on top of your matter. You be like, what the fuck? It's true that. Because you say if I go marry Christian and the person, I'll go ahead, I know they do church, but I don't even think I can, because we fight, and where we fight is not even about say okay whatever, it's on the children.
So that children thing has been a real issue.
The children is where I will fight tooth and nail. No motherfucking person is indoctrinating my children with trash. I'm going to teach my children about religion scholarly. You learn it like literature. You learn about the Bible, you learn about the Quran, you learn about the Bhagavad Gita. You learn all the holy books of different religions. Honestly, not Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life bullshit. So that's the one of the reasons why I can't marry a Christian also, because on the children matter, I'm going to give them the choice, to the opportunity to choose. If I want to study everything, see the world in full scope and not in a bubble. But if you bring your bubble mentality, fuck that shit. Marriage is over. So it's better not to even start. Dog, they hungry. So, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. So that's the whole marriage thing. Just chill. You got time. Take it slow. No need to stress yourself. And you know, they might say you need to marry early. That marry early is bullshit. You can marry early and die tomorrow. So marry well at your own convenience with who gets you. Raise your children together the way you want. No story. Whoever that is not interested in marriage is not by force to marriage. Marriage is overrated. The way it's rated in Nigeria, bullshit. Yes. So another question I think I have. You know, somebody who are listening to this just now, and the person might be in a Oyedepo school company, Covenant University or Landmark, and they themselves, they are seeing the bullshits. First of all, the way the Christianity is forced, they are threatened with expulsion and all that shit, but they look past that. But yeah, looking into the Bible, they are seeing the contradictions. They are seeing, you know, how the Bible history is failing, but for some reason, they've experienced God. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now, but I lost you.
Okay, let me start again. So, what advice will you give to a fellow Oyedepo school person who is seeing all the holes in the theology, seeing all the contradictions, how Bible history is failing, and how it doesn't just make sense. There's a lot of contradiction. The Bible is not inherent, you know. They have experienced God in one way or the other. They have some experiences that makes them know that yes, there's a God. But the Bible, everything is just contradicting, but they are just hanging on because of those so-called experiences. What advice would you give to such a person?
I think I would advise them to take a step back and examine what they believe and why they believe it. Emphasis on the why. And that they should, okay, for example, they say they believe in God, but, you know, there are issues in the Bible and that they see the issues. Mm-hmm. Okay, some of these people, some people I've met that say stuff like that, right? They may then say, oh, but, you know, the Bible is maybe God's word, but man has corrupted it. And at that point, that makes me question okay, yes, man has corrupted it. Why couldn't God preserve his word from corruption? And if man has corrupted it, what method do you use to find out what's reliable and what isn't? Usually when it comes to that kind of question, right, the answer I'm giving is, you need the Holy Spirit to interpret it. And honestly, I hate that answer because it's just a very lazy cop-out. It's like a way for them to disregard everything, any interpretation we give, no matter how objective it is, simply because we don't have access to their magical decoder ring that explains the true meaning behind the text. You get?
Yeah.
And then if they give like an answer, just simply ask them, you know, then why is there all the confusion if people have access to this Holy Spirit, right? Why are there so many religions? Why is there so much confusion? Why can't God just clarify things?
Exactly.
Except perhaps he doesn't really give a fuck, because that was the view I held at the beginning part of the conversion, that okay, God exists, but he clearly doesn't give a fuck because the world is a mess. Religions are a mess, right? And if he cared, he would at the very least, clarify the misconceptions surrounding him. Yes.
Yeah.
So people that have that see issues but they still believe in a God, I would advise them to learn more, develop critical thinking skills, learn more about the ways our brains work and how they can fool us, right? Because I too have had some experiences that I thought were supernatural back then, but looking back, I realized that they were very mundane, right? For example, I'm sure you've probably attended all these deliverance sessions now where they are casting out demons from people.
Yes.
And one thing I noticed even when I was a believer was that, one, is always the demons never transfer from one body to another. Like, if I could see a demon move from one person's body to another person's body, that would really convince me that there's something going on. But you never see it. And the second thing is that they'll deliver somebody today, they'll drive out the demon. Next week or next year or next time they do deliverance, the same people will come. I told you that I used to attend Bible camp. So every year, around August or so, they'll have camp. And it's always the same set of people that they used to do deliverance sessions from. And I'm like,
there's demon in the house.
I swear. But looking back now, and then you get remember there's a passage in the Bible where Jesus says that, when a demon is cast out of someone, to go out looking for a new home. When he doesn't find anyone, he comes back 7 months. So back then I thought that, okay, perhaps this is the explanation. But looking back now, I know that is not the explanation, that it's probably a mental issue, not a spiritual one.
Yeah.
Right. So they need maybe mental help, not all this nonsense. And then it makes me realize that it's probably the same thing that was happening back then when these people thought that, the demon was just going and coming back. When instead, all their exorcisms were just not doing anything because it's not anything, you get?
Yeah.
So it's things like this when I look at the Bible and then see that they give this sort of explanation that might make sense from a Christian perspective, but when you're looking at it from outside, it doesn't make sense, then you just have to.
It's hard to look from outside when you're inside, though. It's hard. In fact, what I feel like as a Christian, they can't just fathom what is it like looking at Christianity from outside. Everything is, what would Jesus do? Everything is looking it through the Spirit. All their different terminologies of religious undertone. It's hard to look at, to just come out, because it is the universe they know. It's the cinematic universe that they think exists, which creates they create what they call it, imaginary enemies. My enemies are against me. Every enemy died by fire. Village people. Village people have suffered. Village people have suffered unjust accusation after the devil. Both devil and village people are competing for false accusation. I don't know whose as it was. Oh, it's crazy, bro. So finally, let me ask you one question. Have you heard of a Pascal wager?
Yes.
So if somebody should bring it to you, how do you answer it?
What if I'm wrong? Well, there are several ways I could answer it. I could simply refer them to another religion. Like, what if they are wrong about this religion too? You get?
Yeah.
Then that's all of us will see end up in hell. But I guess the thing is, the idea that I could be wrong about something like hell doesn't bother me. I mean, when it comes to whether or not a God exists, I'm still a bit open-minded about it, even though I'm currently of the, opinion or I've currently reached the conclusion that it doesn't exist or it doesn't appear to exist. But I may be open-minded about that one. But when it comes to something like hell, by the time you study the history of how the belief in hell originated and evolved, by the time you study something like that, you realize that this is nothing but a fairy tale.
Fan fiction.
It's like a boogeyman story told to scare us, and it doesn't scare me. So if you ask me what if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I mean, I tried. I did try my best. And all knowing God would know that I tried my best, right? But if therefore he's still going to toss me out because I came to the wrong conclusion, then talk. But again, I'm confident that hell doesn't exist. So
nice one. Yeah, so bro, we are done. Thank you for coming. Normally I ask for your socials, but you are low key, so or do you want to share it? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Low key. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please subscribe up Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube. Also, don't forget, please rate these podcasts on Spotify. It's a new feature, so it will help with visibility so that more people can listen to this podcast. So that's all for this week. Have a great week and take care.